But I think for my brother, this is something he's been waiting for.
Queen Camilla is sharing this secret to her and King Charles III's 20-year marriage.
Queen Camilla has always kept things private, especially when it comes to her past and how the public sees her. But now, at 77, she's finally opening up, and what she just admitted has people talking. After years of maintaining a calm image and quietly standing beside King Charles, Camilla's confession suggests there's more to the story than anyone realized. Sources close to the royals say this wasn't just a small moment. They believe it could change the way we see her forever. So, what exactly did she say? And what does it mean for the future of the royal family? Stay with us, because this confession is bigger than anyone expected. The woman behind the crown. Sometimes, as people grow older, reflection becomes inevitable. The past starts to resurface, then the truths that once stayed hidden begin to push their way to the light.
After tying the knot in 2005, the Queen Consort is sharing what has kept their marriage, which was Charles's second following his divorce from the late Princess Diana in 1996 after 15 years together, going strong.
And long-guarded secrets finally find expression. At 77, Queen Camilla is in that season of reflection, and what she's now opening up about has left royal watchers in shock. But to fully understand the weight of what she's just revealed, we must go back to the very beginning of a royal love story that was covered in controversy, betrayal, and resilience. So stick around till the end of this video, because what we are about to reveal will truly surprise you. Camilla Rosemary Shand was born on July 17, 1947, into a privileged British family. Her father, Major Bruce Shand, was a decorated British Army officer and later a wine merchant, while her mother, Rosalind Cubitt, came from an aristocratic background. Camilla grew up in the countryside of East Sussex in a large home filled with horses, dogs, and a deeply traditional lifestyle.
Tells a group of reporters during her recent state visit to Italy on April 9th per Hello magazine, quote, 20 years. Who could believe it was 20 years? What is the secret?
So, from a young age, she was known for her confidence, wit, and love of the outdoors. She attended Queen's Gate School in London and later finished schools in Switzerland and France. Though she didn't attend university, Camilla was socially well-connected. By her early 20s, Camilla had become part of Britain's upper-crust social circles. This role often required her to attend balls, hunts, and exclusive clubs where royals and aristocrats regularly gathered. It was during one of these events that Camilla met Prince Charles at a polo match in 1970.
I don't know. I suppose it's just sort of friendship, really. The Queen goes on to admit that she and Charles have always simply gotten each other.
Their first meeting was casual, but left an impression. Camilla, known for her sharp wit, playfully remarked on a historical family connection, suggesting that their ancestors had once shared a scandal, and perhaps they should carry on the tradition. Her charm, confidence, and shared love of horses immediately caught Charles's attention. They began dating after that meeting, forming a strong emotional bond. But despite their closeness, their relationship faced major obstacles, and that was where things started to take a different turn. Charles was under pressure to find a bride who fit a very specific royal mold, young, virginal, and of noble status. Camilla, while well-connected and respectable, had a dating history and didn't fit the crown's strict image of a future queen. Moreover,
she explains that their respective royal duties also meant that they needed to be individuals as well as a couple.
Prince Charles's naval duties pulled him away from Britain, and in his absence, Camilla rekindled a relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Andrew Parker Bowles. Now, it will surprise you to know that Andrew was no stranger to the royal circle either. He had dated Princess Anne at one point and was considered a good match for Camilla by both families. In 1973, Camilla and Andrew married. They had 2 children, Tom and Laura, and remained prominent figures in high society. But the emotional thread between Camilla and Charles never truly broke. So, while Camilla settled into married life, Charles began his royal search for a bride. And this search ended in 1981 with his marriage to the young and glamorous Lady Diana Spencer. Diana was everything the royal family hoped for: charming, photogenic, and adored by the public. But as the world swooned over the royal wedding, trouble grew behind closed doors. Stay with us, because this is where the story takes a different turn. Camilla and Charles had resumed their closeness, which soon developed into a full-blown affair. Diana was only 20 years old when she entered royal life, and it didn't take long for her to realize something wasn't right. Later, Diana openly shared that her marriage had been affected by someone else's presence, claiming that they were 3 in the marriage instead of 2. After that, many people saw Camilla as the woman who came between Diana and Charles. What followed was brutal. Camilla, once a private figure, became the center of tabloid storms. She was painted as a villain, a homewrecker, and the root of Diana's pain. The paparazzi haunted her down. Newspapers dissected her every move. She became a symbol of everything people thought was wrong with the royal family. For years, she kept her head down, staying mostly out of sight. And from there, Camilla's marriage to Andrew Parker Bowles began to fall apart under the pressure. They divorced in 1995. Around the same time, Charles and Diana's relationship also broke down. They officially separated in 1992 and finalized their divorce in 1996. Just 1 year later, Diana tragically died in a car crash in Paris. The world mourned, and the public's resentment toward Camilla increased. Many believed she had no place near the royal family, and certainly not beside Charles. But through it all, Charles and Camilla remained committed to each other. Even in the shadows, their bond never wavered. Their story, often messy, deeply human, and forged through pain, was far from over. Love against the odds, their controversial journey to marriage. The years that followed after Diana's death were filled with tension and careful planning. Charles knew that any move to publicly legitimize his relationship with Camilla would be met with backlash. And for years, the royal family did everything they could to keep Camilla in the background. Public opinion was still largely against her. She had become a symbol of royal scandal. But Charles was determined. Their relationship became official in 1999 when Charles and Camilla were photographed leaving the Ritz Hotel after a party. It was the moment the palace could no longer deny what had long been whispered. Still, Camilla was not introduced into public life overnight. She slowly started appearing at official events and accompanying Charles in more open ways. But the Queen was not convinced. Queen Elizabeth II did not approve of Camilla, at least not as a future royal consort. She blamed her, at least in part, for the disintegration of Charles and Diana's marriage, and felt it would be damaging to the monarchy to fully embrace Camilla. In fact, it's said she even refused to attend some events if Camilla was present. But Charles was persistent. He reportedly threatened to go public with certain private matters if Camilla wasn't accepted. One incident that many make reference to was his refusal to continue certain royal duties unless Camilla could be formally acknowledged. He pushed and pushed until eventually the Queen relented, though it's widely believed her blessing came more from pressure than peace. On April 9, 2005, after decades of waiting, Charles and Camilla finally married in a civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall. The Queen and Prince Philip did not attend the civil portion, but showed support at the religious blessing afterward at St. George's Chapel. It was a compromise, but a significant one. At the time of their wedding, it was announced that Camilla would be addressed as the Duchess of Cornwall and not Princess of Wales. But what was the reason for this shocking action? Well, the title of the Princess of Wales is still deeply associated with Diana. Furthermore, the palace stated that Camilla would not become queen when Charles became king, but rather princess consort. Many saw this as a way to ease the public into her new role without stirring further resentment. But Charles had other plans, and what he did next left the entire monarch in shock. So don't go anywhere. As their marriage progressed and Camilla began to settle into royal life, Camilla slowly started to change how the public saw her. She was no longer just the woman in the background of a royal scandal. Instead, she began to appear more often in public as calm, respectful, and ready to serve. Camilla focused on causes that mattered to her, like promoting reading, raising awareness about domestic abuse, and supporting osteoporosis research, a disease that affected her family. These efforts helped show a different side of her. It wasn't just good for her image, it also showed that she was serious about doing her part as a working royal. Public appearances were carefully planned. Camilla's style became softer and more approachable, and she always spoke with kindness and respect. Over time, public opinion began to shift. People started to see her not just as the other woman, but as someone who had faced years of criticism and still stayed loyal to the man she loved. Her calm presence, steady support, and quiet dignity began to win people over. Rather than trying to steal the spotlight, she found her place by showing up, doing the work. Rather than trying to steal the spotlight, she found her place by showing up, doing the work, and proving she belonged, one appearance at a time. Even the Queen's opinion softened over time. In 2022, during her Platinum Jubilee message, Queen Elizabeth publicly stated it was her sincere wish that Camilla be known as Queen Consort when Charles took the throne. This was a turning point, and it didn't come lightly. It was a full-circle moment that marked Camilla's slow transformation from public enemy to accepted royal figure. So, when Charles became king in 2022, Camilla did indeed take the title of Queen Consort. By the time of the official coronation in 2023, the title of consort had quietly faded away. She was simply Queen Camilla. Not everyone was happy about it, but few could argue that she hadn't weathered the storm. After years of judgment, headlines, and public doubt, she was still standing, stronger and more sure of her place than ever. But that quiet respect didn't come free. It took years of silence, patience, and sacrifice. And now, at 77, Camilla is finally opening up about the journey, the pressure, and the personal cost of becoming queen. So what did she say? Let's find out. The confession that changed everything. So like we said earlier, after decades of silence and keeping her emotions well guarded, Queen Camilla, who is now 77, seems to be entering a new chapter of reflection and honesty. Those close to her say she's been more open than ever, quietly sharing long-held memories, regrets, and difficult truths that had been buried beneath years of royal duty and public scrutiny. This openness appears to be driven by a mix of age, the desire to leave behind an honest legacy, and perhaps a personal need to make peace with the past. Whatever the reason, the effect is clear. Camilla's quiet revelations are beginning to change how people see her.
It was a symbolic public engagement with his wife Camilla by his side. Europe correspondent Isabella Higgins has more.
Not just within palace walls, but in the public eye as well. Friends say Camilla has been thinking deeply about her life, not just the years spent with King Charles, but also the period before they were reunited. It was a time filled with emotional pain, public criticism, and the heavy weight of being portrayed as the villain in a story that captivated the world. For years, she was painted as the woman who broke up a royal marriage. But now, as she opens up, people are seeing something different. A woman who endured decades of blame, kept her head down, and remained loyal in the face of endless judgment. This isn't about rewriting history, but about adding the voice that was always missing, her own. And for the first time, many are listening. Camilla has privately acknowledged that the constant public judgment left lasting scars on her mental health, contributing to the physical pain she now experiences in her feet and affecting her in the past, particularly during her struggle with pneumonia. Those close to her say there were moments when the pressure felt almost unbearable. Behind her calm appearance was someone quietly struggling, deeply affected by the headlines, the whispers, and the relentless spotlight that followed her for decades. The emotional toll, they say, was heavy and unrelenting, even when she tried her best to stay composed and silent. Beyond the personal cost, Camilla has also reflected on the pain caused to others, particularly Princess Diana and her sons. She hasn't tried to rewrite the past, but instead has shown a willingness to confront it. According to people who've spoken with her, she carries real regret, not just over how things unfolded, but over the heartbreak that came with it. At the same time, she stands by the love that brought her and Charles together, even if the circumstances were far from ideal. Her reflections show a woman who understands the complexity of what happened, acknowledging the damage done, while still holding on to the belief that her feelings were real. It's a rare glimpse into a story long told by others, now finally being told by her. Above all, Camilla appears determined to take control of her own story. With time no longer in her favor and old scandals still shaping public opinion, Camilla is said to be working on a personal project. Some of them are part memoir, and the others part reflection. Those familiar with the effort suggest it's far more emotional and intimate than traditional royal accounts. Rather than a polished public relations piece, it aims to reveal the quieter, more vulnerable side of a woman who has endured decades of scrutiny. It's described as a story of hardship, transformation, and quiet resilience. An honest look at a life that nearly unraveled under pressure, but it didn't end there. Recent books have shed light on just how uncomfortable Camilla once felt about stepping fully into royal life. In Yes, Ma'am, The Secret Life of Royal Servants, author Tom Quinn reveals that Camilla was deeply uneasy with the idea of becoming queen and found the rigid royal protocols suffocating. She often expressed frustration with the endless formality and reportedly questioned whether they could ever escape it. Her hesitation wasn't just about tradition, it was also about the intense public attention that came with the role. According to Quinn, even in the 1970s, long before marriage was even on the table, Camilla had already decided she didn't want to be queen, but Charles was persistent. He saw her as his true partner and encouraged her to take on the role, not just for the monarchy, but for him personally. Eventually, Camilla came to terms with the weight of the position. Though the path was far from easy, she found the strength to take it on, understanding that her presence beside Charles had symbolic and historical importance. What began as resistance gradually became reluctant acceptance, and ultimately quiet determination. Another key factor influencing Camilla's reflections is the complex dynamic within the royal family. Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, revealed that both he and Prince William had urged their father not to marry Camilla, fearing public backlash and the inevitable comparisons to their mother, Princess Diana. The book also included accusations that Camilla had leaked stories to the press in an effort to rehabilitate her public image, claims strongly denied by Buckingham Palace. Despite the royal household's position that Camilla's aides rarely engaged in discussions about Harry and Meghan's departure from royal duties, it's clear the rift affected the entire family. Through it all, Camilla has reportedly tried to remain neutral, avoiding direct involvement in the ongoing tensions. While some have viewed her quiet stance as strategic, Others see it as an attempt to keep peace within a fractured family. Her approach appears to be one of staying above the fray, supporting Charles while not deepening existing divides. What stands out now is Camilla's growing openness in showing vulnerability. In recent reflections, Camilla has admitted that stepping into the role of queen still feels surreal, as if she was never truly meant for it. That mixture of humility, quiet acceptance, and lingering unease reveals just how far she's come. By confronting her past, owning her flaws, and speaking honestly about her fears, Camilla is reshaping the story around her. Rather than the cold figure once vilified in the press, she's emerging as a more complex, relatable woman, someone who endured public scorn, personal heartache, and years of silence, yet managed to stay the course. That willingness to show her true self is earning her a quieter, more respectful kind of recognition. So, with all these reflections, the real question now is, what's next for the monarchy? Because Camilla's legacy depends on it more than ever. Keep watching, because it's only getting more interesting. The future of the monarch. Now, as King Charles's health continues to decline, speculation is growing about what lies ahead for the royal family. The uncertainty surrounding the monarchy's future has only intensified with news that the king, facing an increasingly serious battle with cancer, has begun making preparations for what may be his final chapter. According to palace sources, at the heart of these preparations is one deeply personal priority: Queen Camilla. Insiders reveal that the king's final wish focuses not on titles or public duties, but on ensuring Camilla's safety, dignity, and peace in the years after he's gone. He is reportedly determined to shield her from the kind of scrutiny and cold treatment she endured in the past, from the early days of their controversial relationship to the relentless judgment she faced as the other woman. Charles is said to be making financial and legal arrangements that will guarantee Camilla remains protected within the royal household structure. This includes ensuring she has a secure place to live, continued support, and respect from palace aides. More than anything, he wants to make sure Camilla is not cast aside, marginalized, or left to navigate the institution alone once he's no longer there to stand beside her. Those close to the king say his greatest hope is simple: that Camilla can spend her later years in peace, surrounded by dignity, not scandal. For a man who has spent a lifetime in the public eye, it's a quiet, personal legacy he wishes to leave behind. But here comes the irony. Although King Charles may wish for Camilla to live out her later years in peace, will Prince William honor that wish? The truth is that the relationship between William and Camilla has always been strained. From the very beginning, William struggled to accept her. To him, Camilla was not just a new figure in his father's life. She represented the painful unraveling of his parents' marriage. He viewed her as someone who had stepped into a space that once belonged solely to his mother, Princess Diana. Unlike the coldness Charles often displayed toward Diana during their marriage, his devotion to Camilla was unshakable. This double standard only deepened William's resentment. In private, William reportedly made it clear to his sons that Camilla was his father's wife, not their grandmother, and certainly not someone they were required to call grandmother. He made it explicitly known that Camilla could never replace Diana and should not be treated as if she had. But that didn't erase the tension. At key royal events, the strain was visible. William notably refused to bow to Camilla during certain ceremonies, signaling to the world that he did not see her as his queen. And Camilla, for her part, didn't help mend the divide. When William and Kate married in 2011, Camilla was reportedly distant and cold toward the couple. Sources close to the palace described her behavior as icy, and William took notice. That moment only added fuel to the fire of an already rocky relationship. And now, all of this history has led many to believe that once William becomes king, it could spell the end of Camilla's influence or position within the royal family. The tension between them is well documented, and it's no secret that William has never fully embraced her. But that may not be the full story. You see, despite their strained relationship, William has consistently shown loyalty to his father above everything else. A clear example of that came during the royal fallout with Prince Harry. When Harry chose to step back from royal duties, many expected William to act as a bridge between his brother and their father. Instead, he stood firmly by King Charles, even when it deepened the family rift. That loyalty has not changed. When Charles fell seriously ill, William didn't hesitate to take on more royal responsibilities. He stepped up, increased his public engagements, and honored his father's wishes without complaint. So now, as Charles nears the end of his reign and his life, there is a single pressing question. Can William look past old wounds and grant his father's final wish to protect Camilla? Or will decades of resentment resurface, leaving her vulnerable once again? It's a delicate balance between personal emotion and royal duty. William may never view Camilla as a true stepmother, but as future king, he will be expected to act with dignity and foresight. If his loyalty to his father holds firm, he may well surprise those who assume Camilla's place in the monarchy will fade. As always in royal life, the future remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: what William chooses to do next could shape not only Camilla's legacy, but his own. So what do you think about Camilla's journey into the royal family? What are your thoughts on her reflections, and what do you believe the future holds for her? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.